Brethren, I was on my knees praying when I heard the audible voice of the Lord calling me. The Lord told me, Adeline, do you know that you are a great servant of the devil? I replied, Lord, I have never been a servant of the devil before. The Lord said, indeed, you were really a fervent servant of Satan. But I said, Lord, it's not true. I have never been a servant of Satan. I was never a witch or a Satanist. The Lord said, when you were serving the devil, he was really pleased with you and he was clapping for you, because he was satisfied with the work you were doing for him. You were a dedicated servant of Satan. I said, Lord, how can I please Lucifer when I was never his servant? Then I began to wonder, is the Lord speaking about subconscious witchcraft? The Lord said, no, it was not subconscious witchcraft, because you were serving him with your mind and spirit. When you were in his service, the devil was happy congratulating you. My daughter, I was just looking at you and I was really sad for you, and I was saying, look, this daughter of mine, she is ignorant, and she does not know that she is at the service of Lucifer. Brethren, I wanted to be clear here, for the Lord was not speaking with a tone of anger or bitterness, but with tenderness and mercy, and he was relaxed. I said, Lord, it's not me. I was never at the service of the enemy. I was debating with the Lord when he told me, Adeline, listen and let me explain to you well. Do you know that when you were braiding women hair, when you were weaving women hair, when you were putting eyelash on women, when you were placing fake nails on women nails, you were serving the devil, and he was happy clapping for you, for he was really pleased with you. When the Lord spoke this way, in my heart I was convinced and convicted that I had really served Satan. The Lord said, you see that you were a great servant of the devil. Brethren, I remember that I was really a good hairdresser. When I do Rasta hairstyle, people were asking who did this hair. I remember when a new trend of Chinese nails became popular in London and Manchester. Only Chinese hairdressers that were able to place these artificial nails on ladies, but I was among the first African ladies in London and Manchester that began to place them on ladies. I made a lot of money going from house to place Chinese artificial nails on women. People began to call me the woman who do nails and eyelash. Even ladies who don't like eyelash were impressed when I do it. They felt comfortable with it. When I was earning money serving the devil, the Lord was looking at me with mercy, because I did not know that I was serving Satan, who was clapping for me. Upon hearing the rebuke of the Lord, I was stunned and I remained quiet, thinking, after being convicted and reminded by the Spirit of God, I was regretting in my heart, indeed I had really served Satan without knowing. Then the Lord said, Adeline, all these hairdresser and people who work in hair salon, people that are placing fake nails over ladies' natural ones, people who are placing eyelash on women and doing hair attachment and wigs, these people are servant of Satan, but they don't know. Their master Satan approved and clapped for them. The Lord said to me, do you know that most of celebrity travel to the dimension of mermaid and goddess underwater? These celebrity are the people who bring to the surface the new trend and new model of artificial nails, eyelash and fashion clothes. These celebrity work with mermaid and goddess, who give them new model, new fashion and new beauty accessories. You must understand that every time a new trend and new model and new fashion is brought to the world by celebrity, there is a wicked spirit behind these trends. When a new trend of lipstick, nail polish and hair attachment is put in circulation, they are attached to demon. I remember a new trend of fake nail, that was called parrot nails. It was really popular, but its appearance seems demonic. The Lord confirmed that every trend sent by the realm of mermaids and gods through celebrity is attached to a particular spirit. Thus new demons are released on earth whenever a new trend is deployed in the world, and the people who follow the trends will receive these demons in their bodies. These new trends of the marine kingdom are promoted by celebrity, who travel to the marine universe beneath the water. Since these celebrity are public figures, the world will follow their trend, but these celebrity are only the first group of Satan workers, for the Lord said, when a new eyelash, wigs and nails become trending, thanks to the promotion of celebrity, the devil will be looking for the second group of workers. These are women and the men that will learn how to place these eyelash, artificial nails and wigs on women. The first workers were the celebrity who are supposed to bring the new trend to the surface, but the second workers are hairdresser and people who work in salon. These are the workers that will do the job of placing these instruments of Satan on people in hair salon, and Lucifer is desperate for such workers. And the Lord reminded me and said, Adeline, you were among this group of Satan workers. Brethren, I was doing this work of putting eyelash, weaving and placing artificial nails on women, serving Satan unknowingly. I was ashamed and annoyed to learn that I was a servant of Satan. The Lord said to me, have you not noticed that you were learning to work on these new trends easily? It was easier for you to learn the new trend in order to apply them on women. You were a worker of Satan. Back then I seemed to have special skills and ability to work on new trend of artificial nails and eyelash, even though it was tough for many. Whenever I did wicks, people were stunned and were asking who did these hair attachment. In this conversation with the Lord, I noticed that he kept saying again and again, you were a servant of Satan and he was happy with you. I did not know that the Lord was expecting me to confess this abandoned sin. Already there was regret in me, for regret must be the first step of confession. You cannot confess your sin unless there is regret, otherwise it is not a confession. I said to the Lord, you keep saying I served the devil, but it was in the past. I don't do it anymore. The Lord said, yes, you don't do it anymore, but still you did serve the devil. When I went silent, the Lord said, Adeline, you must do a confession. Do you realize that you never done the confession of this particular sin? You have to do it. I had already regretted, but the next step was confession. I said to the Lord, you mean I should confess this sin that I had already stopped practicing? The Lord was telling me to confess and ask for the forgiveness of a sin I used to practice when I was still an unbeliever. Brethren, let me seize this opportunity to remind you about past sin that you had abandoned long ago. You may think that because you don't do it anymore, it is erased before the Lord. This is a dangerous mistake, and you may have to pay for it in eternity. Brethren, when we stop a habit, it can be a habit that we had before coming to the Lord. We must make sure that we do a serious confession with regret before the Lord, in order to erase this sin, that may undermine our salvation. I am talking past habit and sin that you used to do in the past. You no longer do it today, but you never done a serious confession before the Lord when you stopped practicing that sin. Brethren, I thought everything was fine and I had no problem before the Lord, because he talked to me with audible voice and used me in a powerful way. To my great surprise, the Lord came to remind me a forgotten sin, that I had not confessed properly with regret. We must be careful and reject these confessions that are not precise, and that are superficial and general. The Lord wants precision in confession, and he wants us to regret. What matter for the Lord is that I don't do it anymore. I gave up that sin, but it was essential to do a precise confession in regret. Since I kept saying that I don't do it anymore, the Lord said you must do a confession and ask me for forgiveness. You never done a serious confession about your service to Lucifer. The fact that you don't practice that sin anymore does not mean that it is erased. Finally I said, Lord, forgive me. The Lord said, when you are doing confession, you must be specific and specify the sin you have committed. I said, Lord, forgive me for the eyelash, fake nails and hair attachment I was putting on women, and for serving the evil. Then the Lord asked me, Adeline, are you gonna do it again? I said, Lord, I won't do it again. This question is important because when we confess our sin we must promise the Lord that we will not do it again. Many people are repenting but they are not promising the Lord not to do it again. They are just confessing. Brethren, when you do a confession and you promise the Lord not to do it again, it will be difficult to do it again. After specifying my sin and promising that I will not do it again, the Lord said, it's fine. Now I am happy. When the Lord was happy, that happiness of God was transferred to me.